Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Fasting is Life, and here again, I bring you with another video. On this particular video, this one is gonna be very serious because all of you who's listening and people out there, somewhere, somehow, we have friends, family members who are part of the armed forces, and suicide is very common amongst armed servicemen and women. So this particular video will focus on this topic. As you guys already know, my channel focuses on fasting and other topics when it comes to health. And I've talked about suicide on my channel a few years back, but this groundbreaking news came out, which is very important. So all of you out there who's gonna be listening, if you have a family member who or friend who's in the armed forces, please share this video to them. They may have somebody who's on the edge about you know taking their own life for whatever reason, and maybe they need some voice, somebody out there that could hopefully convince them the life is better than death. It's better for you to be alive. It's better for you to let nature take its course instead of stepping in place of nature. And death is a subject that most of us, for those of us who stay alive, we live with the pain of losing a loved one, whether by accident, illness, and all the sorts. Death is not your friend. The scripture says, be glad you have life, because when you're dead you have nothing. So life is the most precious thing that the Most High has given us. So let's not waste it. Yes, in life we have hardship and everything. And most of the time, the people who are suicidal, all they needed was somebody to hear them, somebody who they could open their heart to. But we live in an evil world where everybody is for themselves. The selfishness is on an all-time high, and nobody cares about anybody. And that's a fact. And that's why I usually tell people, I say, I know the reality of this world. A lot of people put facade because watch this. If the people really care about quote unquote veterans, why do we have a high number of suicide? If we really showed the love and care to the veterans, why is the number of suicide so high? If the people really care about them. And on this article I'm gonna read from was it apnews.com, it talks about it, so let's get into it. It says military suicides up as much as 20%, 20% in COVID era. And I'm gonna read the article. And while I'll be reading the article, let me change the banner. This banner, it's from the same article. It has the phone number for those of you who are on the blink of suicide thoughts. This is the suicide prevention hotline, and for those of you who are veterans, they're asking you to press one once you call that number. It's gonna give you options when you call it. So while I'll be reading this, for those of you who will be watching this video or listening, the number, it says call. For those of you who are thinking about suicide, call this number 1-800-273-8255. And if you're a serviceman, press 1. Again, the phone number is 1-800-273-8255. For military veterans, press 1. And That number is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So let me go back to the article. I'll be reading it. Uh, okay, let me switch around. Okay, the article says it's a it's a very long article. So what I'll do is I'll try my best to hit some particular point. It says in Washington, American press, military suicide have increased by as much as 20% this year compared to the same period in 2019, and some incidents of violent behaviors have spiked as service members struggle under COVID 19, war zone deployments, national disaster, and civil unrest. While the data is incomplete and causes of suicides are complex, Army and Air Force officials say they believe the pandemic is adding stress to an already strained force. And senior Army leaders who say they've seen about a 30% jump in active duty suicides so far this year. Wow, 30%. That's a lot. Told the Associated Press that they are looking at shortening combat deployments. Such a move will be part of a broader effort to make the well being of soldiers and their families the Army's top priority, overtaking combat readiness and weapons modernization. The Pentagon refused to provide was it 2020 data or discuss the issue, but Army officials said discussion in Defense Department briefings indicate there has been up to a 20% jump in overall military suicides this year. The numbers vary by service. The active Army's 30% spike from 88 last year to 114 this year pushes the total up because it's the largest service. The Army Guard is about 10%, going from 78 last year to 86 this year. The Navy total is believed to be lower this year. Army leaders said they can't directly pin the increase of on the virus, but the timing coincides. I can't say specifically, but what can I say is I can read a chart and a graph, and the numbers have gone up in behavioral health related issue. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy said in an APA interview, pointing to increases in Army suicides, murders, and other violent behavior. He added, "We cannot say definitely it is because of COVID, but there is a direct correlation from when COVID started. The numbers actually went up." Because remember, guys, the whole thing when this pandemic happened, what did they say? Stay home, isolate, stay away from everybody. So if normal people had this, anxiety, imagine those who are mentally ill, who are depressed, who are stressed, who have suicidal thought. Can you imagine what will do to them? Okay, continue. COVID adds stress, said General Charles Brown, the Air Force chief, in public remarks. From a suicide perspective, we are on a path to be as bad as last year, and that's not just an Air Force problem. This is a national problem because COVID adds some additional stressors, a fear of the unknown for certain folks. Exactly. The invisible virus, all this stuff. It's all fear tactics. And see, this is the wonderful thing why I love the scriptures. The Most High says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you." If the Most High is with you, who can be against you? The Most High says in the Bible, it says, "Cast all your cares upon me. Whatever you need, Don't worry about it. Just come to me and I'll lift it up from you. All of us, we have our problems. We have anxiety. But the thing is, who do we open our heart to? The first person we open our heart to is the creator, the one who made us, the most high, a higher. We go to him in our chambers when nobody's there. We open our heart. And then after we do that, guess what? We find somebody who is willing to listen. And you tell that person, say, bro, I'm in a tough moment in my life. Before I can continue, here's the thing. People, when they wonder, they say, why people commit suicide? What's going on? Look, this is the reality. 98% of people out there, they don't care about you. They don't. So some people, they fear they're gonna be laughed at. They fear they're gonna be shameful thinking about suicide. You know what they do? They keep it to themselves. I'm not here to tell people to be like, hey, if someone comes to you, they want to listen, you're obliged to listen. No, that's what I say. It's a free will choice. But for those of you out there who are in a state of mind where you feel like nobody's gonna listen to you, remember your Father, the Most High, the Creator. He's always there when nobody's there. So first go to Him. You may feel like I'm speaking to myself, nobody's gonna hear. The Most High cannot be hid. He sees all, he hears all. You have to believe he's listening because he always there. And you know what will happen? If you are sincere in your heart and you want to open your heart, you know what he will do? He will hear you and he's gonna send people who will hear you to come and hear your testimony so you can open your heart to them. There is always a way out. Do not have this thing in your mind and feel like there's no way out. There is always a way. But we live in a society, and this is another thing. You have to remember, we live in a society that nobody cares about you. So having that should give you peace of mind to be like, you know what? If nobody wants to hear me, I understand. But there is one person who don't care, who wants to hear me, he has all the time because there is no time to him. The Most High Ahaya, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who gives you that breath of life. Whenever you wake up, he gives it to you for free. You don't have to pay him. So why would you take it out? Why would you give up something priceless? He loves you so much. He gives you mercy to wake up in the morning, to breathe, to eat, to enjoy, to have feelings, to have emotion. He gives all of us, we all should be thankful. If there is one thing we all should be thankful is having that breath of life. Because when you go to sleep, how do you know you're gonna wake up? But you do. You're listening to me right now, right? Who made you wake up? You didn't do it. You have no control whatsoever. Think about this. According to science, if you think about your heart, if you consciously control your heart, guess what? You'll be dead. Your conscious mind has no strength to be consciously keeping your heart pumping. No, that's the job of the unconscious. The question is, what is the unconscious? Who controls your unconscious actions? The Most High. Who controls your nerves? Who controls your cells to multiply, to replicate, to go out and kill diseases? Who controls all that? The Most High. You have no control even over your own body. But he gives you breath of life to wake up in the morning, to have that energy, that consciousness to be like, hey, you know what? I need to brush my teeth. Oh man, I need to take a shower. I smell. He gave you all the ability. The Most High is merciful. He loves you. He says, cast all your cares upon me. He said, anything you need before you can receive it, I already heard you. I already know what you want. But because of free will, you have to make the first step. You have to make the first step because of free will. And the thing is, this is the thing that the churches should have done, but we live in a society that slowly have been rejecting God out of the picture. Who is God? Who cares? Because if you have faith, if you trust on your creator, he will guide you to choose life. The most I say in the scripture says, I've given you this day life and death. Choose life. That's what he said according to his word. So if the creator who made you wants you to choose life, and if you love him, if you want him to care for you, why would you go against him? He gave you this life for free. You didn't ask for it. He gave it to you freely. And he tells you, say, hey, I know you have free will. I know you're gonna hit a plateau. I know things are gonna happen in this life, in this realm that I put you in. But guess what? There's nothing you can handle. Come to me. Come to me and I'll help you. The problem is we live in a society that's telling you there is no God. Who cares? He doesn't exist. And all this propaganda has led people to feel like when there's nobody else, the Most High, since He doesn't exist to you, uh, it's over. Yeah, I'll say I've had connection. Somebody who quote unquote was not per se in military, but somebody who committed suicide. And I still remember this day, 2 weeks before his passing, I sent him a text. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, bro?" And he replied to me, say, "I'm doing great." I'm like, "Man, we need to get together." He said, "Yeah, likewise." And 2 weeks later, I heard he's gone. And still on my old phone, that text message was still there. I may have to look up that phone. And sometimes I'll look at it, I'm like, man, I didn't know what he was going through. I did my best. I opened my heart. I was, hey, how you doing? Sometimes people who are in that moment in time, you don't know what's going in their mind. And sometimes they just need someone to talk to. Now, this message is for those who are in that moment. If you feel like you're on the edge, find somebody who will listen to. And in fact, this number that I have on the screen, that's the governmental system. And some people may feel like, oh, I don't want to call that. But I'll recommend you, if you have nobody else, call that number. And if you want to, open your heart, talk to somebody. Hey, on my channel, I usually tend to have live streams and stuff like that. Hey, just come comment on my video, be like, hey, fasting, I saw your video and I wanted to talk to you. Hey, if somebody need help, hey, I won't mind helping. I'm a truck driver, so most of my time I spend just driving on the road in silence, meditating in my mind. But this news is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oh, veterans, support the veterans and all this stuff. If the veterans are getting all this love, I'm like, why will such thing keep happening? The creator is always there. You can always talk to him. Think about this. When you're in your head, you're thinking about something, you're talking. Who do you think you're talking to? When you have an idea and something's like, oh, no, I don't think you should do this, a voice of good is in your head telling you, hey, this is the right way. Don't do that. This is not good. That's the Most High. He speaks to the Most High in the Bible, right? For those of you who don't like reading the Bible, in the Bible, the Most High said he 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 sends messages to us all the time, but we're too distracted to hear it. He said, in so much that when we are in our dreams, he said 2 times or 3 times, he will put a message in our mind. He will speak to us in our dreams so that some decision that we slept with that we wanted to do, he will make us change our mind, but by inserting uh, thoughts that will actually better us. There is always a way. Here's another thing: talking is a therapy. As somebody who loves to read, sometimes you can get so much knowledge. You have voices in your head. So you know what you do? You have to speak to somebody. Why? So that knowledge can come out, so you can have more space in your mind. And people who tend to be in that edge of suicide, they're in their mind. They have a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure, a lot of doubt, fear, and they feel like there's no way out. Most of the time, they just want to talk to somebody. They don't like when you someone who's suicidal. The best thing for someone who's the listener, the best thing is to do is just be quiet and just listen. Be the therapist for somebody who's suicidal instead of trying to talk. No, it's like just listen to them. And sometimes they may speak for 30 to an hour to 3 hours because they're just in their mind and they just wanted to speak to somebody. And because we live in a world where everybody mind their own business, they're even ashamed to go to people because they're like, well, they probably won't like me to bother them to hear them. And I believe that's why this number that's on the screen was set up so that, hey, I don't know. I've never called them to actually find out, but hey, if they have somebody out there on the other side who can listen to you speak for 12 hours, hey, that's awesome. If they can have somebody who's going to listen to you all day, you have insomnia, you just want to talk, you want somebody to just listen to, you want to express yourself, whether it's anger, depression, anxiety, worry, wishes, planning of the future, whatever, hey, even better. I know people who been in a stressful point of their life and they needed support, mental support, and they couldn't get it, right? I have military friends, I have military families. I wouldn't want to this to happen because I wasn't there to listen to them. You know, they wanted to talk to somebody and I pushed them aside. I wouldn't want this to happen. And me, I'm a great listener. I love to talk, but I'm a great listener. And usually I'll let people speak for 2, 3 hours and I'll be like, yeah, oh, that's interesting. Just listening. I always say listening is a skill. I even have a video on my channel about the art of listening. Sometimes it's best to just be quiet and just hear. So I wanted to make this video. I know this is, I know I do jokes, but this video I wanted it to be in a more serious tone because suicide is not something to be joked about. There's a time and place, but for our veterans out here, it's a shame that you know we're having this increase in a time where they should be looked after, and we have this propaganda that claims to be all support the veterans. Where is that support? This shouldn't be happening. There's no excuse. So to my all my subscribers and those who listen from afar or in the clouds, I'll put the link of the article and they have more information. But what you see on the screen is also the best way to help somebody who is suicidal. So thank you guys for stopping by. Please like, share, subscribe. If you have somebody who is suicidal, please, send this video to them and hopefully you and your family can watch it and feel motivated because if they're gone, guess who's gonna be left with the pain? It's us, the living. And you don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. So help those who are in a position of weakness, like these brothers right here. This picture, it's a scene showing you that all these they care for you. They're all servicemen of different background, and we have people out there who are willing to listen. So for those of you out there who feel suicidal, please call this number, or if you do not want to, find somebody who cares about you, who you care, that you can open your heart to, and please let them know, because if you keep things to yourself, no, we can't read minds. So if you're suicidal, please open your heart to somebody. At least by them knowing they can, even if they can't listen to you, you know what they do? They'll guide you to somebody who will listen. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. We are people too. You're not the only one. So don't have this fear like, hey, nobody cares about me. Nobody's going to listen. There are people who are willing to listen to you. You have to make the first step. You have to open your heart, and then you will be guided to somebody who's going to listen to you so you can find your peace. Okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned for more videos, and may the Most High guide and bless those who are there, to the military servicemen, our families and friends who are in, in a point of darkness. May the Most High guide you to the light. See you on the next one.